we have revealed Crysis 2 worldwide here as a first look, proper first look. As for showing the three things like the technology behind Crysis 2, which features destructibility and interaction with the world. So the world is alive, and it's kind of like you leave behind the world as you play. So depending on the play style. Second is the play style driver, which is the Nanosuit, the Nanosuit 2, the new one that is more streamlined and more empowering than ever before. And the third element is New York. That's why we are in New York here, showing the kind of unique depiction of New York, of futuristic New York, pristine but yet catastrophic in destruction. So it's a catastrophic beauty. So it's a style that wants to be protected. And New York as a character, and so that's the last element we're showing off here. For me, apart of being just an effect and looking cool, I wanted to become the signature of the player, if you want. Like, Nanosuit is my way to express myself. It's my pen, if you want, as a writer, right? And destructibility is my signature. Yeah, and the canvas is New York. So as that kind of a gradient, we're looking at destruction, not just a gameplay, but how else can it actually form a fictional as well as a character depth in it. So destruction is a character of New York. It is a location driver. It's putting the world alive, and it informs my gameplay decision. One big feature of Crysis 1 was that the environment is changing a lot, has arcs within a level, but also arcs within the entire game. And so New York is always in movement. New York is a city alive, but we don't have people to put it alive. So we said we must make sure that New York is a vibrant city of movement and alive, of character, but driven by other reasons. And this reason is mainly the aliens or the fractions that play a key part on the storyline. So the Nanosuit 2 has been streamlined above Nanosuit 1. Nanosuit 1 was a 4 modes, speed, strength, armor, stealth. And it was one that was designed to run on a PC primarily. So you had the metal mouse button, you picked one mode, and it was working well, but we found out that players actually are choosing mainly 2 modes, or play styles that are created by combining modes. And so they were always like either playing stealth kind of approach with a stealth hunter, or they were playing actually like a tank kind of approach. Or this was the desire at least at the end. And so when we run some studies on Crysis 1, so we wanted to streamline that, and by making the choice, make it more clear, and to the point what they want actually really. So we said stealth and armor, or predator style and the tank style gameplay, but also empowered the player more by allowing the other 2 modes that are in power being speed and strength, and then you got tactical mode, which allows you to assess and zoom in and read much more detail on the environment. Those things can be layered on top now, toggled on top of stealth and toggled on top of armor mode, so you can have 3 modes running at a time. The most important thing for me was that we are able to actually, first of all, to bring the quality of Crysis 1 PC to consoles, and that's been already a major push, like just being able to lift up the quality in interactive experience, lighting, shadows, physics, AI, systemic gameplay, you know, all the systemic gameplay works only because the systems are working together. The whole choice making and non-linear experience only works because systems are intertwined and still work. And then on a PS3 and 360, of course, there's this boundaries were limited, and we're pushing those to get this done actually. So for me, that was first step. Second was, what can we do beyond CryEngine 2 as for uplifting the quality in more better lighting, more dramatic lighting, more better surface details, shader qualities, animation quality, etc. And so we lifted that up and crammed it into console. And that was a major breakthrough for us, because now we're able to tell the story of Crysis we want to tell without compromising it. I think the most unpopular decision probably we have done is to move Crysis 2 so far away from Crysis 1 that there's a time gap. There's not continuing Crysis 1 anymore per se, but clearly reboots the positioning of Crysis 2 and allows people that have played Crysis 1 to have some reward of it fictionally and cast-wise. They will see some people, hear some people, but likewise, we want to make sure that a wider range of people can actually start the game without having played the game. Because the challenge has been bring Crysis 2, or the Crysis kind of experience, to more people. Bring it into more hands. And the way was not just a matter of console market, but also make it streamlined. Because the console gamers are more harsh when they make decisions, to be honest, like top or flop kind of thing. It happens within like a second, And a PC market, you have a little bit more time. It's more forgiving. For me, story is something that I saw as an opportunity where we can heavily outpace expectation, or the opportunity for that matter, because it's something that was the lowest fidelity from all angle. And when I looked at it in total experience, I said, like, how can I push story into something that, with the help of a professional writer, with a world-class writer, how can I push that angle so that it matches the visual, matches the gameplay, and matches the audio bar, So how do we do that? And so Richard Morgan has been brought on board as a kick-ass writer, and I thought, with his help, he will find the right words. You will just describe it. He will actually inspire a lot of people, by his writing, of how he should depict the world, not just in words and lines and cast, but actually when he writes, this and this time, this and this wind is blowing in the face of the hero. You're like, oh yeah, that would be cool actually. Let's put some smoke in the air, color it like this, so it looks dystopian or whatever. He writes it in a way that inspires a lot of people. And we tell him likewise, Richard, we're not gonna write everything there. We're gonna display everything. We're gonna show everything, and that's the melting of the two expertises coming together, and hopefully delivering what we call the perceived story, not just a told story, but actually a perceived story, perceived by ambient storytelling, by showing what's happening, and that's why we also choose New York, because I said New York, even just by being New York, tells so much already than being an island. Being in New York and destroying just a little bit of a building in a way that is stylized, people will say, what happened there? And they're like, oh, probably this and this and this. And so just that talk is already a story. And populating that kind of thinking helps a lot to achieve a better bar and story. Stay tuned about Crysis 2. We're going to reveal in the next 2 months, there will be more movements going on. And this is just the start of it. We got some awesome content lineup for public showing. And the game is on track towards holiday this year on all platforms, PC, 360, and PS3. So and game trailer rocks.
We cannot fight new wars with old weapons. Let him who desires peace prepare for war.